Policymakers trying to make sense of China's rise still talk about the tribute system. In this video, I'll explain what the tribute system is and why it's so important for us today to understand what it is and also what it isn't. The tribute system of ancient Chinese empires was supposedly a way that Chinese emperors and officials organised foreign relations with surrounding kingdoms. It's this idea that the Chinese emperor is right at the centre of the world order, or the Sino-centric world order, and all diplomatic relations with other smaller states or kingdoms are organised on the basis of tribute. That means all surrounding kingdoms must pay tribute, so that might be horses or rolls of silk, to the emperor. And this is symbolic. In other words, by doing so, they are accepting Chinese superiority over their kingdoms. And in return for that acceptance and recognition, China will trade with them. Here's a diagram which shows how the Sino-centric world order founded on the tribute system is often depicted. The Chinese emperor is at the centre and all the other realms are organised in concentric circles around him, stretching further and further out. The further out you get from the centre, the less civilised or cultured these other realms or kingdoms are considered to be, until you get to the peoples considered barbarians far in the outer reaches. So China at the centre is the ultimate power, dominating over all the other neighbouring regions, and it's the tribute system, supposedly, that keeps the other kingdoms fixed in this relationship of submission. In other words, the tribute system was a way of keeping order. It was a way of stabilising relations between peoples through this kind of cultural ritual. This idea, this way of thinking about the tribute system, was made popular by John King Fairbank. He's a very, very famous China historian who was writing about China during the Cold War. He's known as one of the real pioneers of the modern China studies field. Here's a photo of him, actually taken in 1949, that's the year that the People's Republic of China was founded. John King Fairbank himself founded the very famous and prestigious Center for China Studies at Harvard University. Fairbank's concept of the tribute system, or at least the way that this idea has been interpreted by other people afterwards, perhaps unfairly, was that this thing called the tribute system was the central organising mechanism for all of China's foreign relations, and that it lasted more or less unchanged for hundreds, even thousands of years. It only broke down, so the story goes, when it was literally smashed to pieces, when much more advanced, industrialised powers came along, which the British did in the Opium Wars, which began in 1839, dragging China into the modern world of nation states, dominated at that point by Europeans. So why does any of this matter? It matters because this thing called the tribute system, as an idea which supposedly really existed, still shapes understanding of China and China's rise today, including by some really high-level policymakers, both in the United States and in Europe and elsewhere. In fact, as China gets more and more powerful on the world stage, we seem to be hearing more and more about the tribute system, including this idea that Xi Jinping wants to re-establish the tribute system in the modern world, which has some fairly alarming implications for the rest of us. In fact, though, Fairbank's idea of the tribute system has had lots of holes poked in it for quite a long time now by lots of China scholars, particularly historians of China. There's quite a lot of evidence that the tribute system really didn't exist the way that Fairbank says it did. Now, if this concept, which turns out to be not really a thing, is still shaping how high-level policymakers are still understanding China, that's a real problem. In the next video, I'll look at some of that evidence that suggests that the tribute system wasn't really a real thing. Thank you for watching.